A very good evening, everyone. I am Naresh Pal, the Program Director at TCS Ion Direct, and your host for today's session. I welcome you all to today's insightful talk on homeschooling in India and its advantages and challenges. Modern education has grown significantly as the globe has progressed, and it has developed as a combination of the conventional and the modern. Homeschooling is one of the most important components of modern education, and it is becoming increasingly popular. Homeschooling in India is an alternative educational method that entails the child completing his education and learning at home rather than going to a traditional classroom environment. It emphasizes on building familial relationships. Homeschooling is initiated by a family working on the basis foundation of the child and assuming the responsibility for their formal schooling. Children learn through association made at home, real life experiences, and instruction provided by the family members or hired tutors who engage in lively discussions at a personal level. While several countries have always been friendly to homeschooling in India still has a long way to go. Today, we will talk about what is homeschooling and what are of the advantages and challenges and much more. It is my pleasure and honor to welcome and introduce our guest speaker, Ms. Supriya Joshi, who is a flag bearer in India's nascent homeschooling movement. After developing and implementing creative methods in delivering essential learning for life for more than 10 years, she quit her job to be able to implement her research to facilitate self-learning. Her daughter Malvika opted out for formal education system at the age of 12, and they chose to take ownership of their learning. As a result, in 2016, Malvika was admitted into the prestigious Massachusetts Institute of Technology, MIT as it is known, Boston. In 2011, along with a few other educational specialists and parents, Ms. Supriya launched Swasikshan, Indian Association of Homeschoolers. The group is a nationwide platform for homeschoolers in India or homeschoolers with Indian origin staying abroad. She has provided organizational and individual learning solutions through Chasak Gurukul, an initiative supporting the belief in learning for life, not for degree or successful career. Currently, Chasak Gurukul offers solutions to individuals, families, and corporates to leverage natural learning capacity to a human being to lead a purposeful life. A very warm welcome, Ms. Supriya ma'am, onto the show.
Yes, thank
Yeah,
you, Naresh.
yeah. Thank you very much, ma'am. So I would like to begin this show by asking, what do you understand and how's your journey as a homeschool parent? Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you. Homeschooling journey as a parent began when thought of homeschooling came here. 2 years before we started actually homeschooling our children. Then I was working with cancer patients, and there I learned importance of well-being and joy of learning over or joy of living over education. I have seen them struggling for life, and I was head of educational department in that NGO. Then I thought maybe we wanted to give opportunity to our children to set these priorities right, because at the age of 5 they were already started attending school. So we took a pause and we thought, if the priorities that we set, because everyone else were going to school, were these priorities right, or did they want to change the priorities? When this journey began, because the priorities in our mind were well-being, joy in life, and then education, I think I took a role of facilitator rather than a teacher's role. And children chose their curriculum and the way they wanted to learn those subjects. And I would just curate the resources. At times, I had to be an advocate of homeschooling, um, advocate of something we were trying to do because the external system would not accept the way we were learning. And so that was one of the roles that I have played as a homeschooling parent. Um, One more role I played as a great supporter to our child. When they go to school, maybe we don't get this opportunity to be the greatest supporter in their learning because we have to follow what system is following. But here in open learning environment, we really supported them with whatever they wanted to do. And I think last thing comes in my mind is I would never forget the responsibility that I would carry on my shoulder because we started homeschooling and that was not very common then. But our children trusted us so much that they thought Mama is doing the best for us. But I was not sure whether that was the best option or not. I was just trying my best. Uh, so with the anxiety and constant 24/7 planning, sometimes frustrations, sometimes excitement, I was just carrying this responsibility for all these years as a homeschooling parent. That's all I remember.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for setting the stage. And I understand definitely when you start something new, we have to encounter a lot of challenges. So my next question to you, ma'am, how you were able to achieve such a great and scintillating success for your daughter especially?
So you're talking about Malvika getting admission in MIT, am I right?
Yes, ma'am. That is one of the things, but I understand there are many more things to be mentioned here. So we would really love to hear it.
So let me tell you one story. I will tell you the story in 3 parts. In the first part of the story, our daughters left formal schooling. They stopped learning physics, chemistry, biology, the sciences, mathematics, or English, or any other language, or even social science. In the second part of the story, Malvika already got admission in MIT, so she had to study chemistry at engineering level directly without knowing the basics in the first semester of her studying in MIT. And at the end of the semester, I got a call from Malvika and she gave me a news that she earned fantastic grade in chemistry. And in the third part of the story, I really want to take you to the flashback of the story when MIT admitted Malvika. The myth is that Malvika is successful because she is in MIT. But the truth is that MIT admitted Malvika because she was successful. Otherwise, then he could not have coped up with this chemistry at engineering level, studying at that level, without knowing even what proton, neutron, or electron is. I think if we set what success is in the right manner, only then I will be able to share how to achieve that success. So if we really think that success is nurturing your child's originality and supporting them in being whatever they are, and then we develop all the skills of being a good student or being passionate about what we are learning. And if we really want to do that, I think we should support our children with the greatest trust that one parent can offer, because they know what they are doing is my opinion. And sometimes they fail or they don't meet our expectation. We don't see that, but it's okay. And if we still afford to give them that space, I think slowly they learn to take ownership of their learning, and then it is unstoppable because they already know what they are doing, and then they are responsible for that too. So yeah, that is what I have to say about the success.
Mhm. Thank you, ma'am. I understand. No, Malika also faced the challenges, and when the news broke and she came out with the flying colors, it must have brought immense happiness and content to you as well. So my question to you, I mean, if you have to list down three main benefits of homeschooling over conventional schooling, I mean, what would be those three, four, or five points you want to highlight here?
Uh, One is purpose for learning, because in school we study for exams, and maybe we sometimes we also study for the society, to show that yes, I'm capable of doing that, and to be able to earn that self-respect or whatever we want to call it. Sometimes even at the lower level, this purpose is sometimes competing with another peer, another student, and showing him that you got 95.8, but I got 95.9. So uh, this purpose of study is not present in homeschooling, because we don't study for exam. There are no exams as such. So first of all, if children study while they are homeschooling, they are studying because they wanted to study. Uh, so the purpose of learning for your own self, learning for your own progress is possible only in homeschooling. Second thing, I think the benefit is the need-based approach that we can follow. So this is an opportunity. This is not directly a benefit. If you don't take this opportunity, then you are losing it. But yes, this opportunity is there only in homeschooling and not in conventional schooling. The need-based approach to learning, because because if your child's need is to learn math little slowly, you can really follow that pace. You can afford to follow that pace. If your child's need is to study earth sciences, you can afford to keep social sciences, um, mm, and then you can take up a new subject. Or if your child's interest is to study from videos but not from books, you can still afford to do that. So this need-oriented learning is, I think, it is not just a benefit, but it is a fundamental right of any child, because every child is different, and so their needs are different. But in a class of 30, 40, 50 children, we can't really take care of individuals. And third benefit is definitely focus on health. The very reason why I proposed homeschooling to Malvika and Radha. And I think when children are going to school, whether it is physical health or mental well-being, it is seriously compromised. Not always, but there is a chance that it is compromised, and that then it is not recognized, and so it is not fixed. So that is very sad. And here in homeschooling, we have opportunity to take care of their diet, exercise, their mental health, so joy, and even the togetherness of family is very safe place for them to enjoy and experience. These are the three that come in my mind.
Ma'am, you rightly mentioned that need-based learning, and then parents can give full attention to their children because they see when do they need particular thing. So my question is just to, I mean, it's a curiosity to be, to ask here. Let's say if the conventional schools take these 3 points which you mentioned here, need-based learning. So do you think they can bring some kind of a change in their teaching learning approach?
Mm. As I shared earlier, the second point, which is need-based learning, uh, cannot be offered to a class of 30 children because individual consideration of needs is difficult. Secondly, the purposeful learning, if not exam, I really doubt unless we make this learning a beautiful, enjoyable experience. What other purpose could be there for children to get up really early, going to school, and then study what they are offering, not what you have chosen? Uh, Third thing is the health, and even if the school is for 5 to 6 hours, which is normal and bare minimum. I think when a child wants to go for loo, they have to ask permission. That is so unnatural. That is what our daughters would say. One of the benefits of homeschooling is that you don't have to ask permission when you really have to go to loo. So this is very subtle example, but very right from these natural things like eating good food and warm food, not what we have in the tiffin, and because parents didn't have time, they have given some dry snacks. So all these things are compromises, and I don't know how to fix that. If schools could fix that, I think that would, we would achieve the joy of learning even at school level.
Thank you very much, ma'am, for this insightful answer. So my follow-up question is right of children to free and compulsory education act, that is called RTE, which makes formal education a fundamental right for every child between the age of 6 to 14 and specifies minimum norms for the school, doesn't talk about homeschooling. So what would you like to tell parents on this who want to know whether or not homeschooling is legal in India?
So,
Over to you.
homeschooling does not have any mention in our law yet. That means we have a lot of space to interpret whatever they have mentioned about education and right to it. So, if everyone is interpreting it differently, I want to ask, how can this be a punishable offense? It cannot be. If they have to really work on the language that they have used in law and update those sections, if they really want to have a fixed stand about homeschooling, which will take years. But we started homeschooling when it was even more uncertain in terms of law. Now, with this lockdown and new education policy coming in the picture, and so many people starting homeschooling, government is, I guess, it is compelled to think about homeschooling and take a stand about it, and mostly it will be pro homeschooling stand. That is my guess. But I think homeschooling cannot be the first choice of common children, because there are so many children for whom school is a privilege. So I just hope that school remains mainstream and homeschooling remains alternative way of educating children only for those for whom it is appropriate and for those who are privileged for school education.
Thank you very much for bringing this point, ma'am. It should maybe the alternative, but not the main for the schooling. So my follow-up question now is, what are some of the boards in India and abroad that offer the possibility of homeschooling?
So I will share the boards which are there in India and originated in India, belong to India. So
Yes.
the national boards are ICSE and CBSE, and these boards are not homeschooling friendly. By saying that these boards are not homeschooling friendly, I mean that they don't allow private candidates to appear for class 10 exam. Actually, homeschoolers, they don't need board till they are 16 or 15 or till the time they want to appear for board exam. And at that time, if CBSE, ICSE option is not available, they can still avail other options, which are the first option, which is completely homeschooling friendly board, is in iOS. And uh, many very talented homeschoolers and many scholar homeschoolers. So every child is talented, but those who have identified and pursued their talent and those who have really progressed in academics, they also opt for NIOS because it is truly a homeschooling friendly board. Secondly, some state boards like Maharashtra State Board are accepting children as private candidates for appearing for board exams. Some states are not homeschooling friendly, so you have to check with your own state. But just like national open schooling in iOS, now we have state open schooling also available at state level. So if you really want to write exam in your mother tongue, that is also possible through open schooling. And the last board I want to share with you is IGCSE board, which is an international board. In that board also you can enjoy not just the possibility of appearing as a private candidate, but in IGCSE, though it is little bit non-affordable for a common man, you can also enjoy flexibility in terms of how many papers you want to give and in which year. So one very good news is, even if you appear for board exams as a private candidate through this board, your performance is considered at par with those children who appeared through school. So it doesn't make any sense in worrying about giving exams as a private candidate, and you can really prepare for this exam in your own pace, as I mentioned earlier.
So yeah, ma'am. There you have rightly mentioned there are a couple of the boards which don't accept. I mean, it may varies state to state. So my next question is, what kind of challenges did you and the homeschooling parents face?
There are so many challenges, and they differ from person to person because the situation, the parents' way of homeschooling, and parents' thinking also, and sometimes child's personality also, circumstances, the resources available. These are the factors that contribute to the level of difficulties that they will face and the type of difficulties or challenges. I call them as threats. So we can minimize this threat or we can eliminate these threats also in some cases. So the first and the foremost, and I think it is so important, especially in today's time, is that those hundreds of people who are starting homeschooling after this lockdown, they are getting this information from internet and from social media and even from businesses that have vested interest in offering whatever information they are offering. So these parents are confused. In chaotic state of mind, they are taking decision to homeschool and they are pursuing this. They are starting this journey again on the basis of the information that they are getting from this, which is really very the biggest threat I could think in terms of present day. One very common threat I think is lack of community. In our time, lack of community because this homeschooling was a lone journey. There were not many homeschoolers. Just 8 of us started Indian Association of Homeschoolers, and really we tried to make this community bigger and bigger. But now there are hundreds of homeschoolers in one town, but they can't meet each other because of this lockdown. So again, even if they have started homeschooling, this is not the best way to homeschooling. This is home locking what they are experiencing right now, and lack of community to connect is as it is. It has been and it is still set to start homeschooling. One more. So the third I can think of is parents becoming teacher and taking everything in their hand. I think that is also one of the thread that we should learn to minimize. It happens so that because homeschooling is there is no certain outcome to homeschooling journey that you can see, you know. So in when your child is in class 3, you know, after end of this year he will get class 3 ka mark sheet, progress, whatever, grade.
Yes.
So there is the outcome is certain. In homeschooling, outcome is uncertain, and sometimes parents' anxiety, that has happened with me also. So the parents' anxiety or concerns or thought process is take the front seat, and what child needs and the space that child needs is overlooked. So uncertainty in outcome, we have to learn to accept and still take it easy, this homeschooling journey. And if you can't do that, I think that is the threat that affects the entire journey and well-being of your children and yourself. These are the key challenges that I can.
So that brings a thought to my mind. I understand you must have faced challenges from your children's that they don't have friends and they are not able to spend time in schools. So how did you keep yourself motivated? I mean, children's motivation come along, but how did you keep yourself that no, I am doing the right thing, I am on the right track? Please.
So there are two parts of this question. The first part is how did I cope up with this challenge of lack of community, and that is why people sometimes they praise me. आपने प्रशिक्षण फॉर्म किया हमारे लिए, किसी के लिए नहीं किया. We were selfish. We wanted community for our own children. So, but then we took a lead. That is one good thing that we did. We did not just see that there is no community and we were just concerned about it. We just took this step and we formed Swashikshan, and then we celebrated events together. The homeschooling community in Mumbai where we were staying, we would go for picnics. We would learn together. We would have workshops together, and we would discuss our concerns together. So that is how I handled lack of community, the challenge of lack of community. Apart from that, if you ask me how did I cope up with the anxiety, I think the greatest inspiration or encouragement for me was that children have trusted me 100%, and that was such a great feeling that you have your children's trust and आपको वो निभाना है. You really have to be fair to the trust that they have put on you. So I did not think that I was working really hard. So I would sometimes work till 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock to see what resources are useful for them for the subjects that they chose, which I never heard of also. So there were so many challenges, but I was always enthusiastic about facing these challenges just because I had such a treasure of with me of the trust that they put on me.
Yeah, ma'am. Did you, I mean, before bringing up my next question, how did you handle that competitiveness, the competition feeling among children? Did you see them lacking somewhere? Because we want our children to be very competitive. We want them to excel in each and every field. So how did you arrange and regulate that competitiveness in your children?
So Malvika and Radha, when they were attending school, they were toppers in their school, and our house was full of not the entire house, but when many shelves were full of the trophies and medals that they earned.
Oh,
And when we wanted to homeschool, when I proposed them for homeschooling, for choosing homeschooling, I also explained them that in a way you are saying now no to these medals because this opportunity will not come easy to you to earn these medals. But I remember even before that, both the girls told me, these medals, there's a lot of dust on these medals. What is the use of these medals? But I would just share a very interesting story when Radha and Malvika were asked to give the best of certificates that they earned to be able to choose the most outstanding student of the year. Uh, I don't know who, either Malvika or Radha. She just gave one or two certificates, and I asked, "You have?" So the teacher said, "Just get all the outstanding performances that you had in this year," and she just gave one or two. And we asked, "Why did you?" And during this annual event, I see that this award is gone to somebody who got lower grades and lesser certificates. And so I asked, did you give the certificates to your teacher? So the girl said, yes, I gave two certificates. So then I asked, but then the categories that they announced, you already got certificates in those categories. So she said, no, but teacher said you have to be outstanding. Outstanding is only one person. How can two people be outstanding? So they never studied or they never thought about being better than their peers. Teamwork came naturally to them. I don't know. Maybe that was in their DNA, or that is how we nurtured them, we raised them. So, but lack of getting these trophies or recognition was never a problem for Malvika Radha. Even now, when media wants to get in touch with them, they say that we don't have anything to share to people, so they humbly say no to media and public.
and so how do you see the future of homeschooling in India?
So with this lockdown, the number of homeschoolers in India has increased exponentially. Mm, and I think people have also recognized the importance of health, which I then recognized. They have now recognized importance of health over education. Apart from that, they know that new education policy is little bit child friendly, little more liberal. So everyone is somewhere in their minds assessing the situation. They are assessing one more thing. Interestingly, they have already they got this opportunity and they have assessed the online education that school was providing against 24/7 presence of mom and dad with their child, and then what resources they can offer for learning. So in this lockdown, this churning has happened, this brainstorming has happened, and so many people who thought homeschooling is appropriate option for them. I'm not saying it was definitely an appropriate option for all of them, but people assessed and they drew conclusions and they started homeschooling. And now, as I told you, government is compelled to consider homeschooling as one of the option. Maybe it will take time, as we
Yes.
said, that it doesn't happen overnight, but we are moving in the more liberal direction in terms of education. And yes, I hope so that the challenges that we face are not the challenges, the level of challenges that these homeschoolers will face, because now they are not just 8 of them. Now there are thousands of homeschoolers, and if they get right facilities, right support from government and from people like us who know homeschooling, I think they will benefit a lot.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am. So, ma'am, my follow-up question is, if parents who are looking for homeschooling as one of the options for their children from where they can seek more and solid guidance. So what is that source of information? Your advice, ma'am.
So before I share where they can seek support or guidance or information, let me share where they shouldn't go. Finding this information from internet is no. Finding this information or buying products from those who are offering it just because now parents need that. They are opportunists and they have vested interest, as I shared earlier. So we should we should uh, we should learn everything about homeschooling before we commit to certain products. Because this U-turn is not always easy. Once you buy something, once you put your child into a system, once you pull them out of system, these U-turns are sometimes traumatic. So sometimes difficult also. So I think parents should not get information from social media also. There are so many Facebook groups related to homeschooling, and those parents who just started homeschooling are sharing their opinions and advices. This is where they should not go for taking advices. They can go there for connection. They can go there for community. Now, where should they get right, accurate, and timely information from? If that is the support they are seeking. There are some veteran homeschoolers who do not have vested interest, as well as they are ready to help new homeschoolers. I think they should find one, and they will find one if they really search for with that purpose in their mind. Secondly, the support that they need. When we started, there was no community, but right now, as I suggested, there are hundreds, thousands of homeschoolers, and so we are making one platform. We are relaunching Swashikshan with new look, new objectives, and for new people with new circumstances that they are facing. And this initiative is called Swashikshan Open Learners Collective. So this is a community that, in my opinion, will benefit them, which is for them, and which is from those veteran homeschoolers who really want to help them out. So maybe this is not the only community, but from my side, I am promising that we will ensure complete accuracy of information, whatever I have understood the challenges they are facing. So that is from our side the help that we are offering. Maybe there are other individuals who are doing the same thing, and they should look for such resources.
Thank you, ma'am. So I think with this show, I think they can also get connected with you and with your Prashikshan organization, and get the veterans experience so that they can save themselves whatever challenges you or other homeschool parents face.
Yes.
So my next no, it's not a question, rather say, I mean, there are many myths around homeschooling. So I would like to just play a rapid fire myth breaker so that we just raise those myths to the ground. So I will tell you few myths, and you try to answer to these myths in short time. And then my first myth is homeschooling is repetitive and boring. Over to you.
Of course, but only after they finish all the subjects that this planet has to offer to learn.
Yeah. Okay, good. And the next is only parents who are qualified teachers can do this.
In fact, there are so many qualified teachers around us, and we should just let them do their job. Parents should not become a teacher. If there are only two parents to a child, there are so many teachers to a child. And if parents also turn into, they take teacher's role, there will be no parent to a child. So that's not advisable.
All right. The next is the real world of homeschool kids could be challenging as they lack practical labs and workshops experiences. Yes, please.
Yeah. So, young boy named Newton said aha when he was sitting under the apple tree, and Archimedes said eureka when he was stepping into the bathtub. But
Yes.
I have spent my entire educational years, this period, in front of laptop, and I did not experience this aha or eureka moment in a laboratory where I learned MCA.
Wonderful, wonderful. Ma'am, as Newton now pronounced Eureka, I would like to pronounce here Eureka, Eureka, Eureka. We have found a true successful, a veteran homeschooler, Ms. Supriya Joshi. And we would really like to thank you from the bottom of our heart for this wonderful talk.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am, for all the answers and clearing our doubts. It was indeed a very insightful talk. We really appreciate you for sparing time from your busy schedule and making yourself available. I'm sure this will definitely help many parents with respect to possibilities of homeschooling their kids and making them shine much brighter in this world. Could you please, in a minute or two, if you can share the closing remarks?
As a parent, you should know what you are doing, whether it is homeschooling, whether it is schooling, or whether it is unschooling, or whether it is open learning. You have to be the greatest supporter of what your child actually is, and never try to change them into something else.